people don't show up for me. Okay. Now, if this is the belief that you want to live with, that I've been proven to that people don't show up for me, okay, then I'm just going to show up for myself my entire life. And if that entirely worked out, why are we at this workshop? Correct? We're at this workshop because we recognize for ourselves that it hasn't worked out. And that is the power in rediscovering our heart, is in rediscovering our vulnerability, is in rediscovering our trust, is in rediscovering our ability to say, I am protecting and loving myself this much. And therefore, I feel safer when I open myself to somebody else. But if you don't allow love, you will never have love. I'm going to remind you all again that love is about giving and receiving both. It's not just about you chasing someone and trying to convince them that you're lovable and valuable, because it will never work out. And those old beliefs that we carried, that's the old way we were used to living, right? People have betrayed you. People have hurt you. People have not showed up for you. And I know this. I know this because it's happened to me and it's happened to everybody I've worked with. It has happened. But here's my point. Do you want it to forever happen to you? Do you want to sit and say, I am right and that people have hurt me, or that this hasn't worked out, so it's never going to work out? Do you want to live that way? How many of you want to continue to live that way? Okay. Then if you want to have different, you must be willing to do and to believe different. But if you want to grow into a new place, I implore you to believe and be open to more. Coming back to this idea, right, of learning to receive, this is going to be challenging for you. But whilst you learn, like you said, that balance of learning to protect yourself, I want you to write down, where can I learn to step back a little more? Journal for yourself. Where can I learn to step back a little more? Is it in conflict? Is it in when I try to even like push my agenda or my needs? Is it when I'm trying to hold on to a partner to try to prove to them that I'm valuable? Is it where I take the first step to show someone how, like, amazing I am? Like I said, a rose doesn't jump off and come to run to you and say, hey, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, look at me. A rose sits there, knows that someone's going to come to them and value them and love them. So where do I need to step back from needing to prove myself? Where do I need to step back from needing to prove my love? Where do I need to step back from trying to convince someone to be there? Where do I need to step back from trying to establish my worth? This is a huge one. A huge one. Where do I need to step back from trying to establish my worth? Because we're so trained to prove our worth through our jobs, through how we show up, through our identities. When you start to step back and start to love your worth, you don't need to prove your worth. When we're continuously like chasing someone to love us, we're not really sure if they'll love us back. So if what we've been doing has not worked, we should be trying something different, right? That's why you all are here. It's so hard when you're a little inner child. I'm going to explain this to you. It's so hard when you're a little inner child and someone hasn't loved you the way you wanted. It's so hard for you to sit and believe that someone will come up to you and love you. It's so hard. So what you need to do, what your survival has taught you to do, is to run after people and try and pull onto them and say, hey, 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 remember me, look at me, I'm beautiful, I'm lovable, I'm valuable. But in doing that, you're already depreciating your own value. You're already depreciating your own sense of confidence, your own sense of self-worth. And so it's only when you start to love and show up for yourself, you give the universe a chance to love you. This is going to be a huge affirmation and a sense of direction for you all moving forward. Because when you trust and you're giving life a chance to love you, you're teaching yourself that I'm ready to wait and receive. I'm not scarce and I'm not going to run after it anymore. I'm not going to chase. I'm not going to beg. And I'm not going to abandon myself in order to get it. But here's the next part. It's also what you do while you're waiting. That in this time you're waiting, everything I've taught you to this point is important. Okay, I'm going to wait. But I'm going to regulate my nervous system. I'm going to show up for my own peace. I'm going to show up for my emotional safety. And I'm going to show up for my inner child. I'm going to be the one who shows up for my inner child instead of continuously depending on other people. Because as we've said before, those other people always disappoint, or those other people just don't know how to give me the love. So I'm going to start doing these things, but I'm also going to pull back somewhere else. And as we start to do that more and more, we give the universe a chance to love us. We give life a chance to love us. And then you know what happens? We start to love life. In my own life, when I've seen a lot of women that I've worked with, and a lot of, especially most of my clients come from like North America, primarily language reasons and time zone, but most of them unconsciously deny a lot of help and support that comes their way. You may not realize this because you may be saying to yourself, oh, yes, I'm more than happy to take all of the help and the support that comes my way. But energetically, they unconsciously deny the sense of level of support, of help, because deep, deep, deep down inside, they're not afraid that that help or support is reliable. So they start to say, well, I can do it myself. I can take care of this myself. I'll show up this myself. Small things like if someone says, can I pick up your bag? And you're like, oh, whoa, whoa, am I weak? Like, just because I'm a woman, you want to pick up my bags? Like, what's wrong with you? Those small things continuously invalidate your desire to receive. If someone even like opens the door, okay, maybe that's kind of easier. But if someone says, can I give you this? Can I help you with this? Can I show up with this? You know, none of you are willing, or most of us are not willing to think of a relationship where maybe you manifest a relationship and that someone takes care of you financially. Because deep down in your head, you're like, well, that I can't depend on someone like that. That's wounded. That's terrible. That what happens if like, they do something and they leave, or what happens? What will my family say? What will society say? Or what's my value as being a mother? That's again, the problem of our society is that we've invalidated as a collective, the value of homemakers or mothers, because again, the collective sees value as job, productivity, money, bills being paid. So this is a more complex part of receiving, but what I'm teaching you here is the long and short, learning to love your identity, learning to love yourself and not who you had to be. This is the key thing. When you learn to love yourself, you realize that you don't have to be someone who denies help. You don't have to be someone who, says, no, I can take myself to this place. I don't need somebody else to pick me or take care of me or buy me things. When you learn your value of yourself, you start being more open to receiving love, gifts, energy, intentions, time. In the beginning, it will feel uncomfortable. I can promise you it'll feel uncomfortable because anything your nervous system is not used to, it will first feel uncomfortable and it'll try to deny. But if you are giving your nervous system on your own more permission to have this for yourself, then you start making more space to receive it. Your nervous system starts getting more and more used to receiving.